Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your February tarot forecast. So, I definitely just did this whole video, like at least 35 minutes of talking, all to realize I never pushed record. So, we're doing it again. Welcome. Welcome to this second run through. Hopefully, it's even better than the first one. But we're just going to get right into this because I'm already warmed up and ready to go. And let's just start with, quickly, let me just explain to you how this spread is going to kind of work. This top row is going to be your major themes for the month. There are 3 tarot cards. There is an oracle card underneath. It's a little bit hard to see. It is dark and my table is small. This middle card, or excuse me, middle row is going to be our unforeseen challenges that we might face, how we're going to overcome them, and then just some additional suggestions provided by these oracle cards. They are in line here. They're kind of helping with these challenges, but they can be applied all throughout the spread. And then at the bottom, we are finishing out with any just key concepts and considerations that we want to keep in the back of our mind as you go throughout the month. These can relate to any part of the spread or even anything not listed in the spread. It's just some things that you want to have in your mind as you are going throughout the month of February. So Taurus, I'm going to suggest you maybe like sit down and strap in a little bit because you guys just seem like you are going through something this month. There is a lot going on. You have got the 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords. We have got a reverse Page of Cups, reverse Queen of Wands, reverse Empress. There's just a lot happening in this spread. Overall kind of feeling I'm getting is like something is going on in your guys' lives, and I don't want to say negative because I don't really like to use that term too often just due to the cultural definitions that we place upon it, but I'm definitely going to say needs improvement. Yeah, whatever you guys are dealing with in life right now needs improvement, and improving it we shall do. Let's get started on how to do that. So, starting things off, 10 of Swords, okay? 10 of Swords can seem like a really negative card. I mean, it's a man. I'm pretty sure he has been unalived by these swords. It is kind of the pinnacle of this suit. I really wouldn't call it the pinnacle. The 9 is really the apex, the pinnacle of this suit. So kind of the differentiation here is 10 is saying that we have experienced something, some sort of hardship, some sort of difficulty, and we've just not come out on top. We have not been able to overcome it. It has overcome us. Maybe we have some fear, some anxiety, some depression surrounding it. We feel like a failure. Just overall, a lot of like really negative feelings that are being garnered because of this defeat. But what we have to keep in mind is, first off, this is a 10. This is the ending of a cycle. This means another cycle is coming. So what that means is that whatever it is that is causing us this stress, whatever is representing these swords that we have fallen victim to, that we have failed against, whatever the case may be, it's done. It's over. That cycle is completed. We no longer need to be accepting pain and hurt and frustration and anger and depression and whatever else we're dealing with. We no longer need to have that from this card because this cycle is now over. However, comma, okay? This is only over if we decide that it is over. If we choose to leave that trauma, that hurt, that pain, that failure behind us, okay? It's heavy. It's a heavy weight. Why are we carrying it? We don't need to carry it. We've already, the 10 is saying we've already experienced the hurt. You know how now I've already experienced it? Because it's right here in the 9, okay? Right here in the 9. This is the apex. This is the apex of hurt, depression, fear, anxiety, failure, whatever you want to call it. This is the apex. This is accepting it and moving on. So, major theme for the month. Consideration, major theme. Okay, moving on. Both this card and in these cards. Dual meaning. duality. Don't mind me. It's late. I'm tired, but I have to get this done. I'm so sad that the first one didn't record, and I'm like, I cannot do this to my Taurus people. I put so much effort into this already. We're seeing this through to fruition. So, moving on. We have Page of Cups in reverse, creative block. That's a lot of what this one is talking about. We are having some sort of blockage. Pages signify youthfulness, youthful enthusiasm, exuberance, bringing messages, wanting, just being excited to start things. I see a lot of correlation between the pages and the aces of a suit. So they're just excited. They have a lot of enthusiasm, and this enthusiasm is going to carry them into action. It's going to carry them into the night. Night is the court of action, of doing, of work, of skill. So we're not acting yet, or this one we're not acting at all, because we have this blockage. Something is preventing us from moving forward. Now, if I had to venture a guess based on what I am seeing, it's whatever this trauma is right here. So this is the 8 of Swords. I have not picked that one up yet. So we have the 8, the 9, and the 10. Here, let me there we go. Still backwards for you, but 8, 9, 10. This is the trauma. This is the pain. And, if we are holding on to it, not letting it go, then we're going to be blocked. Simple as that, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist or, a psychic tarot reader to realize if we aren't taking care of our shit, that we're probably not going to be getting too far in life, because we have other stuff that is weighing us down, holding us back in the past, and are things that we are not willing to let go of and move forward from. And we have to do that. That's literally, once again, what this 10 of Swords is telling us. We have to just accept that it is what it is, and what happened has happened, and we just have to move on from it. So, speaking of moving on, Knight of Pentacles. I'm not sure if I've ever pulled a Knight out of this deck, to be quite honest with you, or if I have, I cannot tell you the last time it was. I was beginning to wonder if this deck even had Knights, because I pulled pages like it's, going out of style. I pulled quite a few queens as well, but literally never a single knight. So I'm glad that this is the knight I pulled for you. Knights represent work, skill, action, doing things, getting shit done. And the Knight of Pentacles especially is a hard freaking worker, and man, do I love to see that for you, Taurus, because you just clearly, whoa, pandemonium, you clearly have been going through something, either recently or even just in this month. I'm not sure. The suits or the cards are minor arcana, so don't mind me as I'm just picking up the card off the floor. It's this is live, baby. Anyways, yeah, you've been going through something, either recently or you've been going through it for a hot minute. I'm not quite sure. It's minor arcana, but time is a construct that we make up. So what is a long length of time and a short length of time really kind of differs per person, because time really isn't real. Anywho, back on target. We have the Knight of Pentacles. He is working hard. He is getting stuff done. He may not be the fastest. He may not be the smartest. And he may not be the most emotionally in tune. But what he is a hard worker. And what he is diligent. And what he is resilient. And he's a planner. And he's just putting one foot in front of the other until he gets to his destination, until he gets to his goal, until whatever it is that he's trying to do is accomplished. He is just going to keep working. So this is a really important message for you, especially in this spread, in this month, with all this turmoil happening and this blockages, and I'm not going to get down here yet, but it is also indicative of some of these cards down here. Just put one foot in front of the other. I know that sometimes that can seem pointless or like it makes no difference, but I assure you that if you keep taking one step, no matter how small or minute it may seem, it is still progress in the right direction, okay? And as long as we're moving in the right direction, that's positive, okay? So let's take a look at this oracle card underneath. Probably can't see it, but I'm going to show anyways. It says, the hidden worlds, changing consciousness, awareness, extra sensory perception. It's talking about ESP, being sensitive to energies, modalities, anything else that we might be interpreting from the outside world or from another dimension, if that is something that you subscribe to. However, I personally do not view this card under that meaning in this context. I view this card as don't miss the forest for the trees. So what I mean by that is whatever it is that you're struggling with, we're about to pull in a lot of cards from a lot of different areas. So just like stick with me, Taurus. Your read, even the first time I did it, it's a little bit more disjointed than how I typically have been going through these. So just bear with me because yours just needs to be a little bit more interwoven, which is how I like to read anyways. So, you know, it all makes sense. But so you have these challenges, these difficulties in place, okay? Now, what this don't miss the forest for the trees is saying is that let's not take whatever this difficulty is from these swords and let's not make that our whole identity. Let's not focus solely on that. Let's not let all these other areas of our life suffer, create a blockage, because we are just so tightly tied to this idea of suffering and depression and of hurt and of failure and of inadequacy, lack of self-confidence, whatever you want to call it. Can go by many names, can be many things. So don't let that run the show. Don't let that be your whole identity. Realize that there's a lot more in life than that. And on that note, before we get to these challenges and ways to overcome them, I want to look at these oracle cards because they're going to tie right into this whole idea of action and decision. So first we have the Sovereign. The Sovereign is basically just saying that you need to take accountability as a leader for your own life. And also it is talking about doing so with a plan. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, this lovely knight over here, Mr. Knight of Pentacles, he's a planner. He likes routine. He likes order and structure. And so does the Sovereign. Okay? They're not just flying off by, just willy-nilly doing whatever the heck they want to do. They are structured, organized, and planned. So whatever it is that you're dealing with right now, you need to make a plan. You need to make a structure. Don't wing it. Okay. So I do actually know what these cards underneath here are this time because I already did this. The initial time that I did do this, I don't ever look at those cards until I do the read. But now that I am re-talking through this one and kind of seeing a few maybe little key points that I missed, everything happens for a reason. I didn't record the first one for a reason because there were key little elements that I needed to catch up on second time through. This is saying structure, plan, rationale. This is more material, okay? This is objective mindset. This is rational mindset. This is thinking logically, okay? Structure, logic, planning. Keep that in mind. We are going to revisit that idea here in a little bit. And then the other one we have is manage to be glad. Create your own happiness regardless of conditions. What does that say? What does this card remind you of? Ten of Swords. Understanding that it is what it is. Choosing to be happy despite that. Beautiful. Beautiful combination right here. You know another card that reminds me of, that we haven't gotten to, but I'm just going to throw it in anyways? Eight of Swords. We've talked about it a little bit, but Eight of Swords. So, Eight of Swords, this is not the traditional card for it. The traditional artwork in the Eight of Swords is a woman in a, I believe she's in either a white or blue, I want to say she's in a blue gown. She's surrounded by swords and she's tied to a post and she is blindfolded. Now, upon first looking at this card, what it seems like is that she is a victim to her circumstances. She is bound, she is blindfolded, she's surrounded by swords. Pretty sure she's on a cliff next to the ocean. You know, just not in a good way. However, if she were just to be a little bit more aware, a little more cognizant of her surroundings or her ability to maybe take this blindfold off, she would notice that there is a sword that she can reach and she can cut her bindings, she can free herself, she can get out of these circumstances. And the Eight of Swords is very reminiscent to me to the Two of Swords. They both depict a woman who is blindfolded, and they're both choice cards, but Two of Swords is more of a or B pathway choices, and to me, the Eight of Swords, which is actually probably one of my favorite cards in the whole deck, is more of a choice based on self-reflection and understanding that we are the creators of our circumstances. We are the creators of our life, of our environment, what we surround ourselves with. So if we're in an environment that we don't like, we simply just need to decide to change it. And that's going to call in on a couple things, but really it's going to call on determining that we want to be in a better position and understanding that we are the leaders of our own lives, and that in order to do that, in order to facilitate that, in order to make that come to fruition, we are going to have to work. We're going to have to put some elbow grease in, and we're going to have to take one step at a time. Okay? So, moving on. Let's look at these difficulties. So, we have Knight of Swords. Yet another sword. High Priestess. And Ace of Wands. All of these are in the upright, which is funny to me because your spread is just so like needs improvement, needs improvement, needs improvement. And then we just like come out the gate with these like what I would consider more optimistic cards in the upright in your unexpected challenges. So it's a little strange, but I do feel like this Knight of Swords, I do not feel like this is a challenge. I feel like this card is just echoing the same thing that these two cards are, and that is to take action, to put in work, swift and quickly. Once we have decided to do something, we need to act on it. We need to not be lazy, not be lackadaisical, not be passive about it. If we want something, we need to work for it. For that reason, I am going to put it up here in these key concepts for the month. I think that is something that you need to be doing throughout the month and be mindful of, and that it will serve you well in dealing with some of these other circumstances at hand. The other thing that I wanted to point out just about this idea, concept of swords and of action and of decision and choice and of not staying in this place of negativity, of self-destruction, of lack of self-confidence. And that is that there's no Four of Swords here. Four of Swords is meditation, relaxation, taking a step back from things. It's also introspection. It's really just a call to not act, to be more mindful, to reassess your situation. We don't got none of that here, okay? The closest we're getting is this Eight of Swords, And this one definitely is like, you know, intuitively come into yourself and like make decisions, but like we're in the thick of it already here at this point. So yeah, the only way out is through action. The only way you're going to get through it is accepting it, moving on. Okay, so let us go back to these cards. So the correlation I made earlier was with this High Priestess. So this High Priestess, when I flipped it earlier, really threw me for a loop. High Priestess is one of my favorite cards as well. I personally identify very strongly with this card. And so seeing it in the upright, in the potential difficulties, unexpected obstacles, a little hard for me to figure out how to wrap my mind around that, because I do typically have such a positive association with this card. But that's the great thing about tarot, is it does ask us to examine our biases and to look at things a little bit more objectively. So what I realized as I was talking through this earlier is High Priestess, she is the counterpart to the Magician. And the Magician is the master manifester in the material world. So if he's in charge of the material world, he is number one in the tarot deck. So fresh beginnings, new start, manifestation, all that kind of good stuff. She is number two. She is more of the realm of the spiritual, the unconscious, the intuitive side of things, the just feeling, knowing, thinking. And where I see now that this is going to be an unexpected obstacle is because this inner feelings, I don't know if I want to call it intuition necessarily, because I don't believe that intuition is going to be leading us in a bad direction. But what I think is going to happen is you're going to have a disconnect between intuition and ego. And ego is going to come in and it is going to masquerade or act like it is intuition. So what I mean by that is, and I may be repeating myself, I don't think I am. I think this is just part of the message that I was giving in the prior recording. So I don't think I'm repeating myself, but if I am, you know, just bear with me. Maybe you need to hear it twice. But this High Priestess, you know, she is going to be intuition, and sometimes when we need to really tune into our intuition, we have trouble with it, usually because we have this ego, this sense of self, this material existence, and it wants to run the show. It doesn't want to let go. It wants to be in control at all times. So we're going to struggle to hear our intuition when we have this ego talking in our ear. We're not going to be able to discern the difference between the two because they're going to sound pretty similar. Now, there is a way to figure out the difference between the two, which is what I believe the moon in reverse is telling us. Also, just a fun little thing, look at the moons in both of these. They're basically in the same spot, pointing in the same direction. So if this doesn't say that these are connected, I don't know what does. Anyways, this is saying that we need to, we need to meditate, you know, or if you're not a meditator, you need to do something that is going to carve out a piece of time just for yourself, that you can do things that are healing to you or allow you to quiet the voices, you know, either in your mind or around you, or just anything extra. We don't need to be listening to it. We just need some peace and quiet. We need to detach from the material world. And if we can detach from the material world, then we can detach from our material self, which is our ego, and we can have a more clear understanding and just reception of whatever intuition is trying to tell us. So this moon is saying we are also just like the moon in reverse, the moon in reverse is saying that we are leaving these illusions or self-limiting beliefs or anything that is telling us that we are incapable. We're just done with it. You know, we might have been falling into it a little bit too, buying into that, especially if we have that ego in our voice, or that ego in our head, just like, you can't do it, you're a failure, you're depressed, you are having a really hard time, you have failed, you are a victim of your circumstances, you know, if we keep hearing that inner voice, at a certain point, we're probably going to believe it. And I mean, even I, to a certain degree, feel like that's happened to me just in this reading, because I looked at the reading initially and I'm just like, oh my God, like, poor Taurus, you guys have so much shit happening in your life. But I mean, it's just, that's just like a gut reaction, and we need to investigate and not see things for face value. We can't miss the forest for the freaking trees, okay? Can't. I can't, you can't, nobody can't. Can't do it. We need to evaluate. We need to investigate. We need to be able to say okay and let go of things. Letting go is very important, and something that a lot of people are really bad at. Another thing too that you can do to assist with that is shadow work. We don't have a card for it on the table, but actually, we could view the moon as that, doing shadow work. Even in the reverse, I don't care which direction it is, just the moon in general. Not being afraid to get to know those parts of yourselves, because even if they aren't like the most idealistic, they're still a part of us. No matter what happens with them, they will always be a part of us. So if we're able to dive into those unafraid and be able to really kind of rework them, repackage them into something more beneficial, more optimistic, more moving in a positive direction, then we can come back to them later and be like, okay, I went through this experience, and because of this experience, I had this outcome. And because of this outcome, and now that I've reframed it in my mind, I can view it as a lesson, so that now when I go forward, if I experience this again, I know how to handle it. And I can proceed in a way where the outcome hopefully is going to be more in line with what I want. Now, this whole scenario that I just explained, 8, 9, 10 of swords, went through something bad, hurtful, depressing, failure, something like that, and made a decision to just accept it and get over it, and moved on from it, okay? So, moving on to our other difficulties and how we are going to combat them, we have the Ace of Wands. So, to combat that, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Very interesting combination of these cards, These are the two of the major arcana cards. You have 3 major arcana cards, but these are 2 of them. And they are obviously, Moon, High Priestess. High Priestess is the moon. There's moons in virtually the same area, both of them, in this orientation. So that's really fun and cool. And then we have these ace cards. And aces, once again, signify new beginnings, fresh starts, new cycles, along the lines of this 10 of swords. The wand typically refers to inspiration, spirituality, inner being, alignment, whereas Ace of Pentacles is going to be more of a material wealth. It is, planting the seeds for stability later on. It is focus. It is hard work. It could be a business, something more tangible than the wand. So we're kind of like, really, I see these as opposing kind of concepts. So on the one hand, we have the wand, which is going to be the thought, inspiration, idea. And on the other hand, we have the pentacles, which is going to be the tangible manifestation of whatever our thought idea is. So this is kind of a really clear one too. Not something that I was really kind of understanding earlier, so I am really happy that I had to go through this all one more time. But what I am viewing these two as is, you might get stuck in an idea. Oh gosh, yes, now I very clearly see now. Okay, let's look at these cards in all together. So, difficulty challenge. This is Ace of Wands. We have an idea, but we're stuck on it, okay? Page of Cups in the reverse, creative block, inactivity, self-doubt, we're not doing something for whatever reason. So this seems like a logical, oh my gosh, timeline That's the word I'm looking for, where we have this idea that we want to do something, but because we still have these self-limiting beliefs, we are not letting go of whatever it is that is troubling us, and we are holding on to these feelings of failure, of doubt, of loss, of pain, of depression, whatever it may be. Now we are experiencing creative blockages. We are not doing things like they need to get done. We, might be excited about it, but we're not doing it. So the key to overcoming that is to do it. Is to do it. Is to do it. Is to take charge and do it. To take charge and do it. To take charge and do it. I don't know how many times I need to say it. I don't know how many more of these cards I need to pull off of this table to show you that all you need to do is decide to do it. So virtually almost every single card on this table is saying, yeah, you're in this circumstance, but like, Taurus, you can do something about it. Like, I don't feel bad for you anymore, Taurus. I felt bad for you for a while, but I don't feel bad no more because, like, you are in control. You can change the whole trajectory of this situation for yourself. So let's just wrap this up with these last two cards. We've got the Queen of Wands and the Empress, and they are both in the reverse. And these are in this key considerations component. So just a reminder, main themes for the month. These are unexpected challenges and ways that we are going to combat them. And these are just some extra considerations to take with us as we go throughout the month. So we have already talked about 9 of Swords and 8 of Swords pretty extensively. I think that we have beat that dead horse. So now let's just touch on Queen of Wands and the Empress. Now typically this is supposed to be a single card. However, both these cards did fall out together. So I'm reading them as one single card of unity, energy, whatnot. And, they're both strong female figures in the tarot. They are both in the reverse. And they are really having to do with not giving yourself enough love, enough self-care, self-love. This kind of, once again, goes back to Starlight. Dog doing dog things. This just kind of goes back to holding on to this fear, this animosity, this failure, this depression, whatever this negative feeling is that we're getting from this 9 of Wands, from this, 9 of Swords, 8 of Swords, 10 of Swords, freaking Knight of Swords, whatever it is. We're holding on to it, and we are talking ill to ourselves. We are not coming at ourselves compassionately. We're lacking confidence. We're lacking being self-assured. We are maybe giving too much to others and not really nurturing ourselves in the way that we need, which once again brings me back to this concept of needing to have self-reflection, needing to have time to meditate and to get away from the material world and to realign with ourselves and our intuition and our positive self-talk, and realizing that all the answers we need, everything we need to overcome is already within us. We already have that capability. Choose to be happy despite the circumstances. That's the message for you, Taurus. Choose to be happy despite the circumstances. You guys are going to make it through it. I wholeheartedly believe it. You just have to make that cognizant choice and the effort that is going to be required in order to facilitate that. So I hope that you guys got something out of this. Please let me know if this resonated with you. Leave a comment. And I will see you guys again for your March monthly tarot forecast. Have a wonderful day.